Episode 13. After Trevor and Jackson were carried back home by their family, Rob called Alex again. Alex nodded with satisfaction. Mr. Pearson didn't disappoint me. He really made Trevor and his son lose all their pride. He was in a very good mood. But at this moment, inside the meeting room of the Smith Steel building, everyone looked gloomy. After Trevor and Jackson woke up, Morgan, who was furious, slapped them several times. Even he had not expected this result. Not only had they failed to get Lux Travel to work with them, but they had also angered the person in charge of the company. Forget about joining the Beverly Hills Resort. Now no one even knew whether the White family could survive this crisis. After all, the only way the family could make money now was through the engineering teams under their control. But after Mr. Barrett spoke, no company would dare hire the White family's engineering teams. They had thousands of workers in those engineering teams. Even if there was no work, they still had to pay all of them. This situation had completely pushed the White family into a dead end. "You bunch of useless people," Morgan shouted angrily as he kept hitting the conference table. Trevor and Jackson lowered their heads. Neither of them dared to look up. Morgan was so angry that they didn't even get a chance to explain. "Dad, the most important thing right now isn't blaming Trevor. We need to find a way to get Mr. Barrett to forgive us," Tracy's father said with a frown. In a large family like the Whites, one person's mistake became everyone's problem. The mistakes made by Trevor and Jackson had to be carried by the whole family. "Damn it! I don't know what Uncle was thinking. Why did he run into Lux Travel and attack the boss? Our family has already fallen this low. Isn't that enough?" Many relatives began blaming Trevor and Jackson. The two men felt deeply wronged, but they couldn't defend themselves. No matter how foolish they were, they would never run into someone else's company just to start a fight. They knew Maverick Barrett had set them up, but no one believed them. "Who do you think you are? Why would Maverick Barrett waste his time framing you?" Morgan sat weakly in his chair. He also wanted to ask Mr. Barrett for forgiveness, but he still didn't know how the White family had offended him. Is the family name that has existed for more than 2,000 years really going to be destroyed by Maverick Barrett? Morgan felt hopeless. Sarah was also sitting in the meeting room. Of course, she didn't feel even a little sympathy for Trevor and Jackson, but she still cared about her family. The Whites were facing the biggest crisis in their history, yet she could do nothing. That feeling of helplessness made her very upset. Just then, her phone rang. It was a WeChat message from Alex. "Do you believe me?" She froze. "Do you believe me?" She didn't understand what he meant. After thinking for a moment, she quickly typed 2 words, "I do." She didn't know why Alex had asked that question, but she had always been willing to trust him. "If you believe me, then tell your grandfather that you can help the White family join the Beverly Hills Resort project. But the condition is that after everything is finished, Trevor and Jackson must hand over all of their engineering teams to you." Sarah stared at the long message in shock. Was her husband fucking crazy? Why would he say something like that? Didn't he know Trevor and Jackson had already been thrown out of the Lux Travel building? Her first thought was that Alex was talking nonsense, but then she suddenly remembered what he had said the previous night. "I'll give you an explanation for this." Could what happened to her cousins have something to do with him? An unbelievable thought appeared in her mind. She quickly shook her head. Alex couldn't possibly have that kind of power. She had to be thinking too much. "Is anyone else willing to speak with Lux Travel? As long as Mr. Barrett is willing to forgive our family, we're willing to pay any price," Morgan said tiredly. His words made everyone in the room feel sad. No one had expected that the old man from yesterday would become so humble today. But everything he was doing was for the White family. Sarah also felt a little sad. She had blamed Morgan in her heart because he had supported Trevor and Jackson yesterday. But now, seeing him like this, she couldn't help feeling sorry for him. After all, he was only an old man trying his best to protect his family. "I'll go." Sarah took a deep breath and stood up. Even though Alex's words sounded unbelievable, she wanted to trust him. This was the first time in the 3 years of their marriage that he had spoken so seriously. Even if she believed he might be talking nonsense, she was still willing to try for his sake. Everyone in the room was shocked. The one who stood up was Sarah. Has this woman gone crazy? Even Trevor and Jackson had been thrown out. Where had she found the courage to go? Morgan was also surprised, but after calming himself, he sighed. Out of a family with nearly 100 people, the one who stepped forward in the end was a young woman. "Sarah, are you confident?" Morgan asked. He knew very well that whoever went to negotiate had almost no chance of succeeding. "How will we know if we don't try?" Sarah replied calmly. "How can we just try? What if Sarah angers President Harper just like Trevor and Jackson did? Then what will we do?" Tracy complained. "Shut up," Tracy's father said as he gave her a cold stare. He felt that his foolish daughter was beyond saving. Tracy became quiet, although she was still not convinced. "Go and give it a try. I don't expect too much. As long as you can find a way to make Mr. Barrett forgive us, that's enough," Morgan said. At this point, he had no choice but to let Sarah try. "All right, but I have one condition," Sarah said with a nod. "What condition?" Morgan asked. "After this is over, I want all the engineering teams that belong to Uncle Trevor and Jackson." As she spoke, she pointed at the 2 men sitting in the corner. Everyone in the room took a deep breath. How ruthless! Where did she get such confidence? "Impossible, Sarah! Don't even think about it!" Jackson shouted nervously. Deep down, he believed Sarah had almost no chance of succeeding with President Barrett. But what if she actually succeeded? If he gave away all the engineering teams that he and his father controlled, he would lose all his power. "Then who wants to go?" Sarah asked. She didn't argue anymore. She simply sat back down in her chair. "Grandfather agrees. As long as you can make Mr. Barrett forgive our family, I will give you all the engineering teams controlled by Trevor and Jackson." "Grandfather, that's not fair," Jackson protested. The old man quickly slapped him across the face. "Is anything fair now?" he asked calmly. "It's fair, Grandfather," Jackson replied. The overwhelming humiliation made him clench his teeth so hard they almost broke, but he didn't dare argue with his grandfather anymore. At that moment, his hatred for Sarah reached its highest point. "Sarah, do you have any other requests?" Morgan asked. She shook her head. "Then our family's future depends on you," he said with a sigh. After that, Sarah walked out of the bank tower feeling much lighter.